All right, good morning, kiddos. Today we're going to learn about the inverse function of a linear function. Now, inverse is really weird because what it does is it switches it around. So, for inverse functions, let me write this down for you so you have a visual. Okay, what you're going to do to solve an inverse function is you're going to flip the x and y. When I get back tomorrow, we'll talk about why we use the inverse and we'll talk about the real application of it. But right now, I want you to practice the steps and the process of it, and we'll have discussion on this when I return. So flip the x and y. So if I have a function, if I have f of x equals 2x plus 4. That is the same thing for the most part as saying y equals 2x plus 4. So this guy right here, he is the function, okay? To find the inverse, all right, it's going to be called, it's also going to look like this. So if you see that, this means the inverse. You're going to switch the x and y. So notice the y here and the x here, right? So I am going to flip-flop those. So now I'm going to be x equals 2y plus 4. So the only thing that changed was the x and the y. Do you see that? All right, awesome. Okay, now all I'm going to do is get y by itself. All right? So I'm going to minus 4, and I have x minus 4 equals 2y. So I'm going to divide by 2 because I need to separate the x and the y. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So that means 2's cancel. So I have y equals x over 2 is going to be 1/2 x, and negative 4 divided by 2 is going to be negative 2. So this guy right here is my inverse. And that's all there is to it. It's just a basic flipping the x and the y, and then solve for y. All right? So these nice things right here, these are your steps. Okay? So that's how we find an inverse function. I'm going to go ahead and do one more example for you so then you can get started on the fun-filled activity that I left for you, all the steps here. All right. Next one. If I have 2x plus, let's see, 6y, and that equals 12. Well, first, we need to go ahead and get y by itself. All right? So I'm going to minus 2x. And what this is going to do, this is going to give me the function. So I have 6y equals negative 2x plus 12. Divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. So I've got y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2. This guy is my function. All right? To find the inverse of my function, what do? That's right. You're so smart. You're going to flip your x and y. So I'm going to write it so you can see it. Flip x and y. So now, again, I'm going to do all my hard work. I'm going to take this guy right here. All right? And I'm going to start simple. I'm just going to go ahead and take the inverse of him. So now I'm going to have x equals negative 1/3 y plus 2. I still want to solve for y. All right? Okay? So minus 2, minus 2. So I've got x minus 2 equals negative 1/3 y. Now remember, when we're multiplying by a fraction, we can either divide or multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by a negative 3 over 1. Multiply by a negative 3 over 1. All right? This guy cancels. So I have y equals negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And so this guy is your inverse. You're like, man, Mrs. Melendez, that's like really complicated. I don't like dealing with a fraction by that y. Is there another way? Well, you know what? It's a good thing that you ask because I can predict your questions. And there is another way to do it. Okay, you can go and you can use this guy right here if you want to find your inverse. Or if you want to avoid fractions altogether, you can do it a different way. So let's take our original guy right here. All right, let's take him. We're going to copy him to a new page. And we're going to work with him one more time. Okay, so we've got this, right? So, I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to find my inverse with him. Okay, so I have, my original is 2x plus 6x equals 12, right? So, to find inverse, I'm going to switch. Oops, can't spell. So, I'm going to have 2y plus 6x equals 12. Notice what I did there. All right, notice. Switch my x's, switch my y's. All right. So now I still want to get y by itself. So minus 6x, minus 6x. So I've got 2y equals negative 6x plus 12. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So we have y equals negative 3x plus 6 for your inverse. Is this guy the same as the other one? I sure hope so, or I messed up. Yep. Oh, God, look at that. I'm so good. Either way we work it. Okay, we get y equals negative 3x plus 6 if we work it one way, or we can do the other way without fractions, and voila, we get the same thing. So that's your option, all right? So I want you to know when you're finding the inverse, you can do with the original, or you can do the one you get in y equals. Do whatever is easiest for you, all right? If you hate fractions, do the second option. I hope this helps. If you have questions, please email me or come see me when I return. I hope you have a great day.